Okay, boys and girls, today we're talking about multiplying and dividing fractions. Now this, remember, guys, this is all review, so I might go through it a little fast, but you've all had this before for multiple years, so we should mostly be on the same page. Okay, for a second, let's just talk about what it means conceptually, or like in your head as an idea. What does it mean to multiply fractions? Okay, well, let's say you have a problem like 1/2 times 1/3. Okay. Well, here I've got a picture, and this picture obviously represents 1/2, right? We've got a box, we've got half of it shaded. This box is half. Well, we're taking that original half that we started with, right here, and we're multiplying it by only 1/3. We're not even taking it a full time, we're taking it 1/3 of a time. So basically what that means is we're taking the colored section and we're going to cut it into 3 pieces. Okay, there we go. We've cut it into 3 mostly equal pieces. And of those 3 new pieces, how many of them are we going to need to color in? Just 1, right? So, okay. Now, of this whole shape, of this entire shape, if we were going to continue these lines all the way across now, how much of this new shape is colored in with both colors, with the green and the red? Well, you see that there are 6 total pieces now, and only 1 piece is colored in with both colors. Therefore, the answer is 1/6. Okay? That's the idea. That's basically what's happening when you multiply fractions. Okay, now you don't have to draw a picture every time. We know there's a much faster way to do it. Okay, so let's take the following fraction. 2/3 times 4/5. Alright, the shortcut, easy way to multiply fractions is you simply multiply straight across. 2 times 4 equals 8. 3 times 5 equals 15. There's our answer. 8/15. Okay? Now you always want to make sure you simplify when you're multiplying fractions. And there's a faster way to do that too. So let's look at the following example. Let's say we've got 6/15 times 9/8. Okay? That doesn't make sense. Let's say 3/8. Alright. So, when we multiply this out, we're going to get an answer at the end that would need to be simplified. But one thing we can do to make it easier on ourselves is, let's just go ahead and simplify before we multiply. Okay? We want to look at everything on top and see if any of those numbers on top can simplify with any of the numbers on bottom. Well, right away I can see that this 6 and this 8, I can simplify those. I can divide them both by 2. When we divide 6 by 2, we get 3, and when we divide 8 by 2, we get 4. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and now I have some new numbers here. That's fine. We can do this. It's called simplifying before we multiply. Let's continue to look on here. Is there anything else I can simplify with the top and the bottom? Now notice these are both 3, but since they're both on top, I cannot simplify those. It has to be one number from the top and one from the bottom. Well, 3 and 3 is not going to work, but 3 and 15, those can both be divided by 3. So I'm going to simplify this again, divide it by 3 and I get 1. Divide this by 3 and I get 5. Alright, let's check. Is there anything else? 1 and 5, can't simplify. 1 and 4, nope. 3 and 5, nope. 3 and 4, nothing else simplifies. This is as simple as it gets. Now we go ahead and multiply. 1 times 3 is 3. 5 times 4 is 20. And there's our answer, 3/20. Multiplying fractions by fractions. Okay? If you're multiplying a fraction by a whole number, 3/4 times 6, for example. Okay? That's actually quite easy. We just have to remember that any number, even a whole number, can be written as a fraction. All you have to do is put it over the number 1. And now, just as before, we can go ahead and multiply straight across. This is another example of a problem that we can simplify before we multiply. 3 and 4 does not simplify, and neither does 3 and 1, but 6 and 4 can both be divided by 2. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Now let me go ahead and multiply. 3 times 3 is 9. 2 times 1 is 2. And there we've got an answer, 9 over 2. Okay, let's look at multiplying a fraction by a mixed number. Let's say 1/2 being multiplied by 3 2/3. Okay, in order to do this, we've got to turn this mixed number back into an improper fraction. Okay, the 1/2 is not going to change, so we'll just leave it the same. That's 1/2. Here we need to change this into an improper fraction. Remember the way we do that. You take the whole number times the bottom number plus the top number. So 3 times 3 is 9. 9 plus 2 is 11. And then you keep the same denominator that you had, and we have 11/3. Okay? Now it's very easy for us to multiply the way we know how. Straight across. 1 times 11 is 11. 2 times 3 is 6. And there we've got it, 11 over 6. Okay? So anytime you have mixed numbers, you've got to change them into improper fractions first. All right. Real quick, let's talk about dividing fractions. Let's talk about 3/5 divided by 1/2. Okay. Dividing fractions is almost identical to multiplying fractions. You just have to remember one thing. And in fact, we can use a saying that we've already used. You've got to remember keep, change, change. Okay? We're going to keep the 3/5. It stays exactly as it is. We're going to change the divided sign into a multiply sign. And we are going to change the 1/2 into its reciprocal. We flip it and bring it down. So we flip it, instead of 1 over 2, it becomes 2 over 1. Then we multiply straight across. 3 times 2 is 6. 5 times 1 is 5. There is our answer, 6 over 5. Okay? So to divide fractions, keep, change, change. Just like we learned when we subtract negative numbers. This is the last thing for the video. We're going to divide mixed numbers and whole numbers. Okay? So let's say 7/2 divided by 4 as our first example. All right, well, just like before, we don't like this whole number. We've got to turn it into a fraction. And you can turn any whole number into a fraction by putting it over 1. Okay, we keep, change, change, and we get 7/2 times 1 over 4. We changed and we changed, right? And then we multiply straight across. 7 times 1 is 7. 2 times 4 is 8. 7/8. If you're using a mixed number, let's say 5 times 1/2. Change it into a fraction. Whoops, we shouldn't be multiplying, my fault. That should be dividing. All right, we change that into a fraction. We need to change this mixed number into an improper fraction. 1 times 2 is 2, plus 1 is 3. All right? And then keep, change, change. 5 over 1 times 2/3. We changed that and we changed that. Finally, multiply straight across. 5 times 2 is 10. 1 times 3 is 3, and there's our final answer, 10/3. As the last thing for this homework tonight, guys, in the description of the video, there is a link to a Google form quiz. It just has one question on it, very easy. I need you to complete that to let me know that you watched the video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.